What's up, fellas?
Okay, guys, we are on live. Welcome to all. Where is Michael? Michael's not here today.
Michael's running a little late. I'll be back.
Okay, so guys, I do wanna, I wanna be a little bit on a serious note. I think the ignorance, comes from us not learning what it states in the Torah in regards to keeping Shabbat. And Jack, I want you I want to tell you, Jack, you told me yesterday that everybody, majority of the people in, I don't know,
South
Miami,
Florida.
right? They drive. So I want you to pass a message to everyone and also to the rabbi. If he gets a chance, tell him to listen to the shiur because there's no way any person can override what the Torah states. Especially when we understand that it's God himself speaking to us. And it's a very serious thing. And I'll tell you something, listen, a lot of people get affected by it, but when they do get affected by it, it's very late. And I want to just share with you, there's many places in the Torah. I want to actually, Michael, welcome, Michael.
Michael.
I was just asking about you. Okay.
Mike, we were concerned you were not going to show up today, Mike.
I wasn't concerned. I was asking about Michael.
I'm here.
Okay, so what I do want to do, Mike, I do want to just read for you guys what it says in the Torah. I have a chumash right in front of me. Okay, what I'll do is I'm going to try to read it in Hebrew and English, and I'm going to explain it because I want us to know the severity of what we are doing. Maybe that's why it's okay. Maybe that's why we think it's okay to drive and, desecrate Shabbat. So I want to read for you over here. It says like this. Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, now before we do start, Richard, can we all come to one agreement and agree to the fact that the Torah is the only truth? Because if we can't agree to that, there's nothing what to continue. Why are you itching your head, Richard? What happened?
It's a tough thing because the Torah is always right, but every human being interprets the Torah a little differently.
Okay, if it's left, okay, I agree with you. If it's left to interpretation, I agree with you. But if it's not left to interpretation, if it's cut clear, can we agree that you can't argue on? If it's black and white, it's black and white. Yes? You guys are with me, guys?
Agree.
Okay. So he says like this. It says in Parshat Shemot, in chapter 31, in verse 12. I want to read for you the language. It says like this. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe lemor. Hashem said to Moshe saying. Now whenever you read this in the Chumash, that Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, is it a storyline? Is it something that happened? Is it something for us to learn from? How do you guys look at Torah when you read it? For example, if I read the Torah, for me it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. It's like investing money with another person. I got to do my due diligence. I got to make sure everything is correct. When I look at Torah, by me, it's like 100% on the mark. Whatever the Torah says, no questions asked. That's the way I look at Torah. When you guys read this over here, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe lemor, Hashem said to Moshe speaking. Do you guys understand that God spoke to Moses? Can we fathom that?
Directly, too.
Right. Right, correct. And I want to just show you, if you ever want to look at the sun without sunglasses, just one time try look at the sun, you're going to burn your eyes. The Creator created the sun. How humongous does God have to be? How humongous? So Richard, it's a problem when we say, I want to do like this, I want to do like that. It's a very big issue. It's like, you have a roof in your house over the heads of your children and your wife, and they decide to do whatever they want. No, it doesn't work like that. There are rules in this house. When we are in God's world, there are rules we have to follow. You can't decide to do whatever you want, whenever you want, just because you like it like that or because you don't like it like this. It doesn't work like that. If I am in somebody's house and you tell me to sit over there, I'll sit over there. You'll tell me to do there, I'll go. I'm in your house, I have to listen. So comes the Torah and it says, Hashem spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu and he said to him like this, Va'ata, and you, Daber el bnei Israel, speak to the Jewish people. Lemor, saying, Ach Shabbatai tishmoru, guard my Shabbat. Ki odhi beini ubeinechem, because it's a sign between me and you, meaning between Hashem and the Jewish people, ledorotechem, for generations to come. Now, Jigarik, I want to ask you a question. When you look at that it's a sign between us and Hashem, that Shabbat is a sign between us and Hashem, what comes to your mind?
If you don't observe Shabbat, you lose the connection to Hashem.
Okay, but I'm asking, when you look at when something is a sign, how do you look at it? Something that's
the level of importance.
Let me try to make it a little bit more vivid. You know, we
Rabbi,
say when we go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, I have to be real careful. I've been preparing this 60 seconds for you. So, I want to be careful here. My words are carefully. Rabbi, I have an unbelievable amount of respect for you, as I told you yesterday. But I'm not a rabbi. But if I'm a teacher of an area in life, some of the students are going to follow it the way that you teach it. And some of the students are going to follow it the way that makes the most sense for them. Like, I don't go to shul right now on Saturday, but I go to shul 4, 5, 6 times a year, and I take my car and drive there. I do 6 or 7 Jewish prayers every morning. That doesn't make me more Jewish or less Jewish than anyone else, but for me, the faith that you have is fantastic, and the teaching you do is unbelievable. Some of us on this call are going to do more of what you do over time, and some of us may not. I'm not disrespecting you in any manner, but much more important what Hashem thinks of me than what you think of me.
Richard,
So,
I don't think of anyone anything. And whichever way Hashem thinks of every single person has his own light in the eyes of Hashem. I'm nobody to judge nobody. You know, a person, who could be, doing all the wrong things. I deal with a lot of people that are not in the ways of God. They're completely off. I've been there. I've seen it. I don't see anything fascinating there. I've been in the clubs. I went party. Whatever. But there's nothing there. So I understand, Richard. I'm not, God forbid, judging anyone. It's just I feel bad for the people that are not realizing and not recognizing the opportunity they have to be able to come close to Hashem and accumulate a wealth of eternity of mitzvot, because we are here only temporary. By the time we're going to come and realize that I want to be close to God, who says? When is that going to be? So again, I'm not judging. God forbid, I don't judge nobody. I'm just learning with you, Richard, okay? Yeah, I'm just learning with you guys. So I want to just explain to you, I want to show it to you like this. When we get married to a girl, correct? What do we say to the wife? We take a ring and we say, Hare ad mikudeshet li betabat zot, kedad Moshe. So we say, you are married to me with this. You are married to me with this ring. Like Moshe Rabbeinu and Hashem's Torah, you're sanctified to me. That means you belong to me and nobody else. Comes HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, tell the Jewish people that they are sanctified to me, that they belong to me, like no other nation. So once we belong to Hashem, we have to understand we are not allowed to cheat on Him. So yeah, Richard, did I get questions like, Rabbi, can I cheat on my wife? Yes, I did. Rabbi, I can't be with my wife, meaning I don't have any, I don't have to say the correct, I don't have any feelings for, meaning I don't know if you guys, he can't even be with her. Like, can I be with somebody else? And in that way, I won't fight with my wife? No, you can't, but that's what I like to do. You can't. Because you and your wife are one. You can't cheat on your wife. Similarly, over here, we're not allowed to cheat on Hashem. So when a person desecrates Shabbat, you are breaking that covenant. You are breaking that connection that you and Hashem have. Say, yeah, Richard, you might be, praying and eating kosher and whatnot. So you think you might be driving, I don't know which days you drive to shul on Shabbat, but that's not what Hashem wants from us. Hashem wants from us to do what He says, not what we want. So it's a very big difference when He says over here that tell the Jewish people that Shabbat is a sign that between us and them. Why? Leda'at ki ani Hashem mikadeshechem, to know that I am Hashem their God. Now I want to ask you guys a simple question. How do you know? How does a CEO know that he has workers? How does he know? How does a husband know that he has a wife? How does a father know he has children? When they listen to him, when they don't disobey him. Hashem says when the Jewish people, when they're going to keep my Shabbat, that reminds them that I am their God. I am above them all. Because a lot of times why people don't want to keep Shabbat? Because they completely forget that who commanded me to keep Shabbat? Hashem. So if Hashem commanded me, why in the world am I not doing what He's saying? So again, Richard, we come down over here. Who am I really disobeying? I'm not disobeying a person, a police officer, a judge. I am disobeying God. And that's a very big problem. Because you're not dealing with me and you like a person to... We're dealing with, when it comes to disobey the highest authority that there is in the world. And how does one do it? I mean, I don't want to... I don't know. Let me ask Jigari. I don't want to pick on anybody else. Jigari, would you have the guts, honestly, would you have the guts to go ahead and cheat on your wife?
Of course not.
Why not? Why what's wrong? Why not? Who says you can't do it?
Who said I can't do it? I mean, God said I can't do it.
Oh, wow. Wait a second. Which God? The God that said you can't cheat on your wife, that God you want to listen to.
Rabbi, you wear a wire, Rabbi.
No, I'm asking you guys a simple question. Why do we get to pick and choose whatever is comfortable for us? Right. If you don't want to keep Shabbat, so...
Right. Why are we cheating on God, meanwhile we don't cheat on our wives? I get the logic, yeah, I get the connection.
Now I want to share with you the next verse. Ushmartem et Shabbat, please be careful. Ushmartem et Shabbat ki kodesh lachem. Guard the Shabbat because it's holy. But listen, Mike, I want you to listen to the line. I really came out of, today I really want to speak about this. He says, because it's a holy day, Mechalalecha mot yumat. One who desecrates Shabbat is going to have to die. Now, Mike, you could have read it the same thing. I just have it over here. Right? You could have read the same thing right over here. I don't have to read it. Am I using a scared? No, it says in the Torah, anybody who desecrates Shabbat, mot yumat. Ki kol ha'oseh bo malacha. Anybody who's going to do work on Shabbat, is going to get cut off. The soul is going to get cut off from amongst the Jewish people. That means you might not have eternity. Mike, I'm asking you a question. So the rabbi can tell me you can come and you're going to grow, but what am I going to do with the words of God? What? What am I going to do with the words of God where He clearly says that anybody who does malacha on Shabbat, for mot yuma, the double mot, he's going to get killed. Not only that, then it continues again. Sheshet yamim yaseh malacha, 6 days one should do work. Ubayom ha'shivi'i Shabbat Shabbaton, on the 7th day you should rest. Kodesh laHashem, because that day is holy to Hashem. Kol ha'oseh malacha bo b'yom ha'Shabbat. Anybody who does malacha on the day of Shabbat, again it says mot yumat. How many times is it emphasized in the Torah that one who desecrates Shabbat, he gets the death penalty? Rabotai, we can stone him, he can get cut off. It's very dangerous, it's not a joke. Hashem says, guard my Shabbat, that it should be a covenant between me and them. Now I want to explain to you guys like this. Comes the Torah and it teaches us something very powerful. Hashem says, how many days did I do work? 6 days. I could have left it at 6 days. No, but I created a 7th day to rest. Hashem rested on the 7th day. So what? By us working on Shabbat, are we showing Hashem that we are better than we don't need to rest? We could work. How do you explain this, guys? The Chavetz Chaim says something very fascinating. The Chavetz Chaim says that Shabbat is like a storefront for a Jewish person. What do I mean? If you have a storefront, let's say for example Wieland, correct? You have I don't know, Jigari, I don't know where you are. Wieland, right? I don't know. You have Wieland. Or Jack, what's that first class trucking? I don't know. Now you don't come out 1 week. You don't come out 2 weeks. As long as the storefront is there, people know you're still in business. But once the storefront goes off, people think you close down, even though you might be in business. Same thing with us. A person, might not eat kosher, God forbid, he might curse, he might steal, but at least he's 100% Jewish. But once a person doesn't keep Shabbat, it's like he's removing that storefront of being Jewish from himself. So
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
Are you allowed to have your business continue conducting business during Shabbat?
There's a way to go around it. Definitely, there's a way to go around it. Depends where you live. If it's non-Jews, if who are working for you, non-Jewish people, there's definitely a way to go. There's definitely a way to go around it.
There is a gray area.
Say it again.
There is a gray area.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we do a few contracts. I've been with my rabbi many years, and we give people permission. They can't close. They can't close Shabbat and Yom Tov and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It's too many days. It's everything's money. Everything's money. It's just losing money. Whatever. There is a way how to go around the situation. But again, we're dealing with it's a non-Jewish.
It says the Torah. You just read the Torah for us, and it says you cannot desecrate the Shabbat.
Correct. I cannot desecrate the
I have the
Shabbat.
same question with the timer light switches. Why is setting a timer light switch any different than me ordering an Uber in advance to come pick me up in the morning, drop me off to the shul, and I'll prepay for it, and it's planned. The same thing like a light switch.
That beautifully said. So
We'll turn it on at this time, turn it off at midnight for my comfort.
Beautiful. You're saying very well. Now the only thing over there is from the Torah. There's no real prohibition. What the rabbis did, the rabbis came and they prohibited it. Why? Because they said you're not even allowed to tell a non-Jew prior to Shabbat to do something for you on Shabbat. So it comes out like this. Whatever I'm not allowed to do on Shabbat, a non-Jew is not allowed to do for me also. So when you're dealing with a timer, a lot of people know, Baruch Hashem, you're not going to think I'm turning on and off the lights in my house. Everybody knows there's such thing as timers today. So if the timer is working on it by itself, which is not a problem. I'm not telling nobody to do malakha. I'm not telling nobody to do forbidden.
The timer, it's the same kind. Okay, it's not a human, it's not a person.
That's where the problem. So
you're premeditating what you want done, when you want it done, and this will execute it based on that.
Correct. So Mike, so the
person or another type of tool, what's the difference?
Correct. So I'm explaining.
So you don't break the Shabbat.
Correct. So I'm explaining to you.
Can I answer him,
please?
Yeah, just 1 second, Fine. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
Okay,
so Mike, so the thing over here is whenever you tell a non-Jew to do something, the reason why the rabbis don't want you to tell a non-Jew to do something, because we're afraid one day you're going to come to do it. So there are a lot of decrees from the rabbis where they put fences not to ever come to do the act itself on Shabbat through ourselves. So with a time, that's never going to happen with me. But can you imagine if you have a non-Jew in your house? For example, you have a cleaning lady, and it's okay, turn on the light, turn off the light, turn on this, do this, do this, do this. You're going to become so habitual, you're going to forget one day, and you're going to start doing it yourself. In order for you not to come to that, the rabbi said you could never tell a non-Jew to do for you malacha on Shabbat. But a timer, you leave it on and you forget about it. I'm not constantly in a dialogue with the timer.
I've been to House of Torah on a Shabbat, right? There's guys that work there on Shabbat. They come, they set up the table, they clean the table. They're working. Somebody told them before Shabbat, I need you to do X, Y, Z. They come, they do it. You're not maybe telling them on Shabbat, but you told them before. How is that any different?
What I tell them to clean the tables.
I do know, just to again echo on what Mike said, I did notice that in some shuls and Chabad centers there are non-Jewish people that are working.
Working what? Working or working cleaning the table?
Both serving.
That's not. I could also do that on Shabbat. That's not considered to be working. Mike, I thought you were asking me a question, but they're coming by car. I thought that's what you're asking me.
No. They get there however they get there. What
Beautiful. Beautiful. So what they're doing, they're not doing any prohibited labor. They're not turning on the light. They're not turning on the oven. They're not doing things for me, correct? All they're doing, anything that I'm allowed to do, they're doing. That I'm allowed to tell my cleaning lady, clean the table. I'm even allowed to tell my cleaning lady on Shabbat, please wash the dishes. And she's going to put the dishes in the washer, in the dishwasher. Why is she allowed to do it? Because there's a permissible way. When there's a permissible way to do something for a non-Jew, If I tell her to do it in a permissible way, and she does it in a not permissible way, that's up to her because she's trying to make her life easy. I tell her, please sweep up the floor. She decides to vacuum. I tell her, please wipe the spill. She decides to mop. That's her problem.
Okay.
Huh?
That's okay. She could vacuum.
Because there is another way for her to do it through the broom.
Level.
But what does she do? She wants to make it easier for herself. I didn't tell her to use the vacuum. If there is another possible, where there's in a permissible way, so then she's allowed to do it in a forbidden way. But if there's no permissible way, she cannot do it in a forbidden way.
So I could ride a Shabbat elevator.
You cannot ride a Shabbat elevator, no.
Why? It says Shabbat elevator.
Oh, Shabbat elevator. No, I thought you meant, can you ride on a Shabbat? I thought you, can you go on an elevator on Shabbat?
No, Shabbat
No, it
elevator.
says Shabbat elevator.
That stops on every floor.
Correct.
Okay, so over there you really have to be careful. Yes, you're allowed to ride on a Shabbat elevator, but you got to be careful. By when I go inside the elevator, does it give more pressure to the elevator? Does it change? I mean, again, I don't know the technicalities of how the Shabbat elevator works, but I will use it, for example, if I have an old person.
Are you allowed to ask someone to push the elevator for you and press your floor?
No.
I'm gonna have a talk with these guys in my building.
No, there's a lot of laws, no.
I was to push all the floors.
Yo, Yaakov, how are you?
Rabbi.
Shabbat.
I'm listening.
Rabbi,
I'm listening.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
What if you don't tell him to push the elevator, but he asks you what floor, and you just say 9? You didn't ask him to push it.
No, you can't do that. You're initiating it. What do you mean 9? You can't be in the elevator to begin with. Why is he going to push 9? No.
But that's going around. That's
No, but
going
you
around,
can't-
like you said.
No,
like you said, if you can't tell somebody. Okay, let me ask you. If you can't tell somebody turn non-Jew to turn on off the light, right? But you can say, listen, it's dark in here, and he goes and puts the light on. Are you allowed to do that?
Okay, so when you say it's dark in here, you're right. So what you're going to tell him, not going to say it was dark in here. You're going to tell him, can you please go get me something from that room? When he goes to get something from that room, he's going to eventually turn on the light, but he's doing it for himself. By the elevator, I don't have no other option. You can't be in the elevator with the non-Jew and tell him, okay, I'm going with you. You can't do that. There's no other way. You can't. No, guys, I think you misunderstand the concept. When I'm speaking about a non-Jew, when there is another way out, in the elevator, there's no. You have go through the stairs. Why you have to go in the elevator? If you tell me you have a person, an elderly woman, and it's a Shabbos elevator or it's something, she can't be up, she's gonna lose her mind. We can find ways to go around it, but for healthy people, absolutely not. No.
Rabbi, what happens if you get stuck in the elevator?
On Shabbat.
We're gonna stay there till Shabbat is over.
Somebody will come and get you. If people are gonna press, they're gonna see the elevator is not coming, they're gonna understand something is wrong. Guys, and I just listen, I tell you like this, and this is, by the way, Mike, I want to just touch upon what you said with the light switches. Not all rabbis really agreed upon the light switches right away, because it really takes away the sanctity of the day. Because really today, we have light switches for everything. Some people even have those, vacuum cleaners, what do you call the Rambo, Mambo, I don't know what you call these vacuum cleaners that, what is it called? Roomba, right? You put it on timer and but guys, we have to want to have an atmosphere of sanctity that I can feel that it is Shabbat. It's not just about just going in the car and turn. We're missing the point. We want to be able to rest, to really enjoy, to focus on Shabbat, to focus on the family, to focus on ourselves. Say it again.
Disconnect yourself from your mundane day and to connect to your holy day.
Correct.
Your day.
Correct. So I wanted to bring out today over here that, Mike, whenever we're dealing, even with the Chabad, you have to, even when they do tell you, you could come whichever way you want, you really have to just, I know that they know, 100% that they know, and I know that they're doing the right thing, meaning they're really trying to bring, what they're doing, not a lot of people can do, they're doing unbelievable. And I used to work in Manhattan in a place, in a shurper between 71st and 72nd next to Hunter College, on Lexington Avenue, and I used to have Chabad would come every Friday. Every Friday, the guys that didn't put on tefillin in that store, they would come do l'chaim, stopped, and they would put on tefillin. They really try to bring a lot of Jews back, but when we're dealing with Jews that are really distant, they leave it up to them. But when we're dealing with ourselves, we have to know, what does Hashem want from us? Even when you're going to tell the Chabad, listen, what's written in the Torah is the word for me to come and Chas v'shalom get this. What am I going to do with this? They can't override this. They have a way, by hoping one day you're going to change. That's the real logic behind it. Because they're going to say, when you're at home, you're doing worse. Who says when I'm at home I have to do worse? Who tells you I have to desecrate Shabbat when I'm at home? Not necessarily. I could also keep Shabbat. Who says I have to desecrate? But again, we give ourselves so many leniencies to come out, from keeping Shabbat. But that's a very big problem. You can't, and I want to just tell you, you guys cannot bring Chabad as proof when it comes for halakha, when it comes to the letter of the law. Because what they do is not so simple also. It's not so simple. You have to understand, to tell another Jew to come to shul whichever way you want, and knowing that you're going to come by car where I could have refrained, I could have helped you stay home. The mitzvah is to tell you to stay home, not to come to shul. If I really want you to change, I'll come and I'll learn with you one-on-one. But I'm not going to make you desecrate Shabbat to do a sin, and through that sin you're going to do a mitzvah. That I wouldn't do. No, absolutely not. That we wouldn't do. I think we had with Ruben, we had a person that, I don't know if he's here, but you remember a person couldn't put on tefillin? Yes, you remember? We went out, I think some of you guys even helped out buying that tefillin. And a few days in a row, I think 1 week Jigarik was always taking me, we would drive out, I would make sure he puts on tefillin.
Wheelchair guy.
Huh?
Wheelchair guy.
No, somebody else. No, you don't know, no. So me and 1 week we went, I said, Jigarik, we have to find somebody else to make sure we started paying somebody else to go to his house and put on tefillin. Whatever it is that we can help, whatever we can do to help, we will want to help. But to come and tell another Jew, come and go against the Torah, that we can. Nobody has that power. Nobody has that power. So that's why whenever you go to the synagogue, you gotta, by the way, you gotta tell the rabbi, do you know you got 40 people over here coming on car? He has to figure something out. Maybe these 10 people or these 40, maybe they live in a neighborhood where you could make your own minyan. Or maybe you could bring the rabbi to your house. Doesn't have to, you could figure something out. Where there's a will, there's a way. But to desecrate, to go against God, Rabotai, we see clearly over here that we're not going to allow you. I just wanted to show you the Torah says about the death penalty. Why do a person need death penalty? For what? For wanting to go to shul? No, don't go to shul, stay home. If you guys have any questions, I'll take it. If not, we're gonna. By the way, there's also over here, it's another place also, I didn't read it also, I didn't have the time. But there's many, many places where the Torah reiterates the idea, one who desecrates Shabbat, he literally puts his life in jeopardy. His life, his family's life, it's not worth it. It's always worth it to do the right thing, especially when you're dealing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If Hashem gave you the life, now you have to understand, Mike, you have to just contemplate the idea. Can it be that you helped a person who was on the street? He didn't have $1 to his name. Could it be? You picked him up. You gave him a job. You lent the money. Now this guy became one day a millionaire. Now this guy has no gratitude towards you. He spits in your face, God forbid. He wants to sue you. He wants to make your life miserable. Tell me, is this guy normal or what? If I helped you, why are you going against me? But unfortunately, this is what we do to Hashem. Hashem gives us money. Hashem gives us the heart, the body, He gives us everything we have is from Hashem. And what we use the resources that He gave us and we use it against Him. Are we normal? We're not normal. We're not normal. We can't do that, Rabotai. We really, like Richard, I don't know if Richard, I think he left. But like Richard, Rabotai, I like what he said. Not everybody's good. Fine, but you have to make a goal that by this and this time, I'm going to minimize everything. I'm going to try to better myself. I'm going to try to work my way up. But to completely ignore it, that one shouldn't do. If you have any questions, guys, I'll take it. If not, we will conclude over here.
You the man, baby. You already know you're the man.
Rabbi, thank you so much.
Yo, you doing something big today? I heard you doing a podcast.
Who?
Some Chazak going big. We lend, we growing.
No, so yeah. So whatever.
This is new residual, son. You already collecting.
No, Baruch Hashem. Yeah. Whatever. It's a podcast.
What time you going live? 8:30.
Yeah, believe another. Yeah, they ask you questions, you answer, whatever.
You gonna be live?
Elon.
Can we get the link, Rabbi?
Say it again.
Yeah.
I think Elon has the. Elon has the link. Elon has the link.
All right, I'll send it to you. You got it.
All right, guys.
Rabbi.
Mike, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bezrat Hashem. Thank you guys for all coming and joining.
Love you, Rabbi.
Bye. I'll see you guys.